Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews with another review. This time we're reviewing Figma Link. This is an older figure. As you can see, it's figure 153. Sorry. The only reason I'm reviewing it is because they're re-releasing him. I think for a third time now. I got him on the second turn, so I don't think they're going to change anything about him. I don't think they're going to upgrade him to any 2.0 body parts or anything like that. So wanted to get a fresh review out there, so we can come ahead and kind of get a fresh updated video for him. I'm sure some other people will probably do the same thing. There are already some videos out there of him, so you can always take a look at those. But this is just as usual coming from my perspective. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the review here. This is him in the front of the box. You can see some of the accessories that he comes with. Oh, and by the way, I do have a new camera here, so I'll be shooting videos here in 720 or 1080. So that's a good thing, and they'll be wide angle. So 16 by 9, so they should fit your screen now. As you can see, he has an alternate face, alternate hairpiece. He has a sword there, a shield, and then we can see the figure there. This is the side of the box. This is the back of the box. You got some product shots there. Nothing special. The other side of the box. And we have the top of the box and the bottom of the box. So let's go ahead and get him out of the box. Take a look at him in his clamshell. Alright, so here we got him here in his clamshell. You can see him a little clearer here. And you can also see what's on the back here. You got his sheath for a sword, and it looks like we got some swishy sword effect parts. So I've already taken him out of the box and everything, so I know what he comes with already. But that's basically it in the clamshell. Let's go ahead and get him out of that and take a look at the actual figure. All right, so as usual, we're going to start off with the accessories. First things first, we have the sword here, and as you can see, it's a nice metallic blue. Nice painting there on the handle of the sword. Nice sculpt work there. Nice little Trinity, I think that's what it's called. I stopped kind of playing these games way back in the Super Nintendo days. I think it was the last time I played it. So I think that's called the Triforce maybe, or the Trinity, something like that. I think it's Triforce. But anyway, that's the sword. And then he comes with his shield, which is done really nicely. All these pieces are actually sculpted pieces, so you can feel them, the whole shield. All of this around here is sculpted. And it's done really well. And there's the back of it. Got the handle for his hand, and then you kind of slide his hand through there. I'll show you how to do that later on in the video. See what else we got. We got a rack of hands as usual. And these are the old hands, as you can see. And to be honest with you, a lot of people didn't like these hands because do they lack the articulation that the new hands have? Sure, but they hold inside of the figure much better than the other ones, and they're easier to take out. I mean, you can really struggle with the those new wrist pegs, man, because you take the hand off. A lot of times that peg comes right along with it, and it's kind of a bitch to get that fucking peg out of that hand. So, you know, if they can find a way to kind of just tweak this a little bit, still have the same articulation as those wrist pegs, then or the newer pegs, that would be really nice. So, but anyway, that's what the old hands looked like. And so you can kind of see he has two grasping hands. Then he has two shield holding hands. I think these are the shield holding hands. Those are the sword holding hands. Actually, you can probably hold the sword with these hands too. And then we just kind of got some open hands here and some open hands there. And then let's see here. We have one alternate face piece of him screaming, and it's painted very nicely as usual. Figma doesn't typically slack on any of the paint, so they typically do a pretty good job of that. So that's what the face looks like, the alternate face anyway. And then we have the sword effect part, which is done really nicely in like a transparent blue, light blue, crystal blue. So that's done really well, and I'll show you how to put that on the sword in a little bit. And of course, as Figma always does, we got a baggie, we got the stand, and we got the base. So that's typical Figma stuff there. So we're gonna just put these accessories to the side and take a look at the actual figure itself. Oh, and the Figma directions. These are older. It's an older figure, like I said, so these are all in Japanese, no English side. But it does give you an idea of how to put the sword and everything. Oh, you know what I forgot to show you? Actually, I forgot to show you the sheath. Here's the sheath. The sheath is done really nicely. All of this is sculpted. All of that gold on there is sculpted. That belt buckle is done really nice. Here's the other side. There's the peg hole that goes in his back. So that's pretty cool too. Let's put that to the side, and we'll take a look at the figure here. He's not. I mean, as far as the sculpt work and everything, as far as the way he looks, he definitely looks like Link. I do have some gripes with him though, and some of it has to do with the articulation. Well, most of it has to do with the articulation, actually. And I think this is just because of when it was made. It's an older figure, so they just weren't engineering them as well as they do now. But I'm still going to point it out. So anyway, here's his default face. And this is likely the face that I would normally probably pose him in. I don't know. I'll take that back. It's the other face. Because he comes, which I forgot to mention, he comes with this windswept hair piece. So I'll usually put that on him with the yelling face. But as you can see, it's sculpted really well. The bangs are sculpted really well. We got the little blue earrings there. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but you can kind of see there's a difference between this green and this green. This is more like a pastel green, and this is more like a olive green or like a forest green. I think it's because of the different types of material that they use. But I think they could have probably got it. It's not that big a deal, but I just wanted to point that out. And but everything is sculpted really well. The sash around his waist, or around his chest there, is all sculpted. It's not a separate piece. It is actually, well, I might be a liar. That is a separate piece, but it's not coming out or anything, but it is a separate piece. All that sculpted. The pouches in his back are done really nicely. His wrinkles in his pants are done really nice. And the sculpt of his boots are really nice. So all in all, I mean, he's still a cool figure. You know, they do the eyes. I always, you always see me pointing out the fact that the eyes are done so well in these Figmas, but it's because they are. It's just because they are. They're never crooked or anything. They got like the eyeliner around it. you know, so, and it's not smudged or smeared. His eyebrows look really good. His lips look really good. So anyway, let's get on to articulation here. And let's see, starting off at the top here, his little hat in the back can swivel. So you can kind of have that going anyway. It does look a little awkward though, in certain positions. So I rarely take it out of this position just because, I mean, you put it in something like this, it's not natural that it would spin that way and still have, you know, kind of some like that dent in it. So it's not really a natural way for that to be. I don't really think that was necessary for that to spin, really. They could have kept that off, but they didn't. He has an upper bicep swivel. Can swivel that all the way around on the joint. He can go up about that far, not quite parallel. Well, it's a little parallel. But this also gets to the point of one of my gripes with the articulation. When you hold his hands up like this, you can't get them straight up in the air. It's always going to be out in a slanted direction like that. And it's due to the way that they sculpted this chest piece. It's a relatively soft piece of plastic, but it's not serving any purposes, really. You know, they could have made it the same color, same type of plastic as the shirt here, because this is kind of a harder plastic. This bottom part, same kind of plastic that's on his arm, but this is kind of a softer plastic here on his chest, but it's not really serving any purpose. So his arm is always going to bow out like that, or slant out like that, and it's kind of annoying, really. I mean, you can kind of get him to try to get it up straight, but it's never going to naturally work. Oh, I forgot about his head. He can look down about that much. He can't really look up, really. He does get a little head tilt, but not a whole lot. And of course, he can swivel back and forth, left and right. He has about a 90-degree angle on the bend, maybe slightly over 90 degrees. He has a wrist tilt. I guess you can say it's a wrist hinge, and then you can spin at the wrist. The ab crunch, he does have an upper torso joint there, which allows him to move left and right. He can't really get a crunch out of it though. It's not really going to get anything there. I mean, it's basically just for that. He doesn't have a waist twist, so any twisting is going to be at this top joint. This is a soft piece. This plastic here, that's part of his shirt, is a soft piece of plastic, but there's no cutouts. Oh, I take that back. There is a cutout. Oh, first, I don't know why I thought it wasn't any cutouts. There are cutouts. So that does allow for his, it does allow for him to get his leg up a good amount without actually hindering the articulation. He has a decent upper thigh swivel. He swivels at the boot, or at the top of the boot. We have a pretty good knee joint there. I mean, typically Figma, you know how they are about their joints. Other than seeing it in the back, you can't really see it at all in the front. I think that's a really good job. It's a little flat maybe, but actually the joint kind of helps it round out a little bit there to make it look like a real knee. So I actually like that in that particular instance. As far as the ankle here, we got up and down, and we can get a good amount of ankle tilt out of it. So you can get him posed relatively well there. The ankle tilt is a little lacking, but it's not too bad. As far as getting his accessories on, so let's start with this is coming into another complaint of mine. I'll get his sword and stuff. There's a sword and sheath, and we'll get his shield and the effect piece right there. So this is comes into kind of another gripe of mine. We'll stand him up there. He can't properly get his shield correctly on his back. It just doesn't sit naturally on his back. So when you pose him standing with his shield on his back, you'll kind of want to do this. So they haven't really, there's not really a way to get this sword in there properly, or a sheath in there properly, without, this is detachable, so the handle here is detachable, so you can get his arm in it. But these pieces, these holes, only fit the handle. They don't fit this piece here. So you kind of, I can't remember how I did it now. I think you actually have to use this piece instead, and you kind of gotta place it. And the thing about it is they have these extra holes here. I mean, unless somebody can tell me a way that tell me how this is actually done, because I feel like this piece should be able to go in these holes, but mine don't fit. And maybe it's just me, because it feels like they should, but they don't quite fit in those holes. So you can't really get the sword on his back properly, and I'll show you how that looks here in a second. So you're either going to have it this way, where because there's a little notch here. There's a little notch, you can see that. There's a little notch there that is supposed to be, I would assume, so that, this doesn't flop around, or it stops the shield from falling out when it's on there like that. But it just sits straight like that. So when you attach it to his back, when you attach the sheath to his back, it just kind of sits there on his back like that. I mean, from what I remember from the game, it kind of the shield sat straight and the sword kind of tilted like that. But as it stands, it always falls. It fell off, but it always just goes in the direction that the sword goes, or the sheath goes, sorry. And it just doesn't fit naturally to me, and I don't. It's not that big of a pet peeve, but I don't know. I felt like they could have did something different on that. So either way, that's how you get the sheath on his back. And if you wanted him with the sword in there, the sword does fit inside of the sheath really well. So that's not a problem at all. And it will seem that I kind of lost the backing of his sword, which is definitely not a good thing. That's going to be a problem. I hope I got that in the box somewhere, because I have these stored at work, and I took it off of them at work, and I hope it didn't. If it did come off at work, I hope it didn't fall on the ground, because they vacuum every day. But anyway, I'll typically have them pose like this. Sorry about that. Camera fell. I'll typically have him pose like this with his shield in his hand. So, you know, and I'll have like the sword in his hand or something. And then as far as this effect piece goes, it just kind of slides on to the sword like so. And I think it looks nice. I like the way that it looks on the sword. It's not too heavy, so he can actually hold it. Let me demonstrate real quick that he can actually hold it with that effect piece in his hand, or with that effect piece attached to the sword. Whoops, that's not the right hand. You always got to remember, when you're swapping hands out, thumb up, knuckles out. But we'll just go ahead and slide that in there. The little bottom piece of the hand or the sword comes off, so you can slide the what's the face, the sword in his hand. Now, this gets into another point. As you can see, he can hold it, like his arms can hold it, but the old Figma joints, that hinge is floppy. So yeah, that'll flop around. And it's not even because the effect piece is heavy, it's just that joint is not that great. So that's probably one of the reasons why they changed them to the ball pegs. But I forgot to mention this in the articulation. He has a toe hinge. But other than that, I still think it's the best link that I've seen out of any of the links that I've seen online or that are toys. So I definitely recommend getting them. He's going to be cheap when he comes out for this other release. So I suggest you snag them while you can. I'm trying to build a Smash Brothers collection, so that's why I got them. Other than that, I have no really attachment or affiliation with them. Other than that, but that's it for the review, guys. As always, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and leave comments. You know, I don't care if they're bad comments. Just start leaving some comments here. Like I said, I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. As you can see, I've already upgraded my camera. So I'm telling you, it's going to be some great things coming from this channel. So stay tuned, get subscribed, thumbs up, thumbs down, do whatever you want. Until then, keep collecting, stay safe, and peace out.